Okay, so today's question is going to be, how do we teach meteorology using differentiation within the classroom? So we're going to give you a plan. We're going to try to set you up for success within the classroom as you begin this journey as to build a unit plan for weather. Okay, so if you like what you see, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button and that like button, and let's get started on this unit. Okay, next we're going to have to take a look at our textbook. I always use the textbook as a launch point for all my lessons. And the great thing about a textbook is the students can take the textbook home. If they have questions, they can always refer back to the textbook, and it's already been outlined for the student in the textbook. So we're going to make a very quick outline of the chapter on meteorology and how it's laid out. And why is it important to be able to use a textbook? Well, these people who designed this textbook, they took a lot of time to make sure that everything's already in there for you. So with that being said, we're going to take a look real quick. My particular textbook has 4 different sections within this particular chapter. Number 1, causes of meteorology. And within the causes of meteorology, we have listed imbalanced heating. We also have energy redistribution and also air masses. The second section is weather systems, how weather works. First being the Coriolis effect. Second being polar easterlies. Then we have westerlies, trade winds, jet stream, and also fronts. In the third section, we have gathering weather data. And this includes data from the Earth's surface, data from the upper atmosphere, and observation systems. And finally, in the last section, we have analysis and predictions. And this includes surface analysis and also types of forecasts. Okay, next on the list, we need to be looking at YouTube for some really good informational videos that correspond with our sections within our unit. So we're looking for YouTube videos which correspond to causes of meteorology, weather systems, gathering weather data, and also analysis and predictions. So, I've already taken the time to do this for you. This takes a little bit of time. If you're starting from scratch, it actually takes a little bit of time to find the videos that are really worth your while to watch. So if you want to, you can go ahead and make your own search. But if you go to YouTube and you type in perhaps weather systems or how weather works, you will actually find a long list of videos. And the video that I found that worked for me is literally called How Weather Works Part 1 and How Weather Works Part 2. And between these 2 videos, the author actually goes over imbalanced heating, energy redistribution, air masses, the Coriolis effect, polar easterlies, westerlies, trade winds, jet streams. This man goes through just about everything that you need. And what I was able to do was watch this video over and over and over again and make myself re-familiar with all this subject that perhaps I had years and years ago in an undergrad class. So this is important. Make sure that you find your own video, or you can go on my advice, which is How Weather Works Part 1 and also How Weather Works Part 2. This is actually put out by the author. It's All Astronomical. So you can actually search It's All Astronomical or How Weather Works. So that will cover both causes of meteorology and also weather systems. I also found a great video by the name of Gathering Weather Data. And this was put out by a gentleman by the name of Mike. And I'm going to spell the last name. It's Samartano. Sammartano. And this goes over data from the Earth's surface, data from the upper atmosphere, and also observational systems. And then finally, I also have a couple videos for meteorology. One is Real Truth Documentaries. Again, that's Real Truth Documentaries that put out this video. And also, the title is How to Read Synoptic Charts. How to Read Synoptic Charts. So, by using these videos, once again, what you're trying to do is align this information and become more information rich, if you will, about your unit. In addition to being able to do that, we can use the YouTube not only to become better experts so that we can teach this in a better way within the classroom. You can also get ideas from your YouTube videos for a PowerPoint presentation. So putting together your PowerPoint presentation, you're going to want to answer some questions here within your PowerPoint presentation. Number one, the question is, what is weather? And you're going to want to put together a slide that refers to what weather is. You're going to want to answer that question. You're going to want to plant within the PowerPoint several different subjects. You want to touch on wind, humidity, relative humidity, the dew point, cloud formation, types of clouds, precipitation, different forms of precipitation, also air masses. You're going to want to talk about the different tools used to predict weather, also fronts, and how to read a weather map. So there's a lot of things that you're going to want to put into your PowerPoint presentation. Okay, you're going to want a really nice interactive notebook within your classroom. So far we've talked about finding YouTube videos, outlining the sections as far as within the book, starting a PowerPoint. Now what you're trying to do is you're trying to get the kids engaged. And there's no other better way to get the kids engaged than with an interactive notebook. And in fact, I would say all 5 E's can be used within the interactive notebook if you do this right. And what I like to do is start with a real solid base as far as with the vocabulary. I love the traditional flip folds, which have the definitions on one page and then the actual terms are laid on top and they can be pasted right on top. And I'll actually show this within the video so that you can see how to actually make your interactive notebook. Along with the vocabulary terms, I also include reading passages and also multiple choice questions and Venn diagrams within my INBs. I even go as far as to include a weather map that they can actually design a forecast within their INB. So, like I said, interactive notebooks are the way to go. They're the best way to get the kids not only engaged, but they can also explore more, and there's enough room there for elaboration as well. Okay, another neat activity that you can do with your students is a traditional scavenger hunt. And this is really, really easy. All you have to do is make posters where you have the word, your vocabulary term, at the bottom of the page, which leads to another poster that has the definition that's printed out in the middle of the page, which leads to the next term for the next poster, okay, on the bottom of that page, which leads to the next definition found in the middle of the next poster, that you hang all these on the wall. So a scavenger hunt's a neat way to get your kids up and out of their chairs. So far we've talked about outlining the chapter as far as out of the book, as far as a launch point. We've talked about the YouTube, as far as the importance of using YouTube to become more of an expert within weather and meteorology. And We've also taken a look at the interactive notebook and how that actually gets the kids thinking and starts getting them more engaged in the process of taking their own notes and having ownership of their notes. Now it's time to get the kids out of their seats. And I actually use scavenger hunts with every unit that I teach. It gets the kids out of their seats. I actually go out into the hallway of the school. I have enough time in the morning to actually post the posters into the hallway, and this really does a good job as far as building vocabulary. And what's great about this is you can actually make as many of these as you need. So throughout the entire unit, you can actually go ahead and make a scavenger hunt for different terms that are involved, such as anemometer, such as barometer, such as radar. You can also use this as far as your fronts. You can actually put the symbols on your poster so that they can go find the definition of that particular symbol on another poster. It's just a fun way. It's a fun way of getting them up and out of their seat. Okay, in addition to getting them up and out of their seat, I feel like it's really important to get the kids outside. Where's the weather happening? It's happening outside. So a fun activity that I do with my students, I go to the store, I get a very inexpensive can of helium and some balloons, and relatively cheaply you can come up with a really great activity for the kids to have a hands-on experience with meteorology. So we actually inflate the balloons in the mornings, and I tie a string to each balloon, and of course I fill those with helium. And what you're looking to do is take the kids outside, and you're going to release these balloons. And the question is going to be to the students. There's going to be several questions. Number one, what direction is the balloon taking off in? Now, in order to do this, we're going to have a compass. So you're going to have a compass. You're going to have balloons. You're going to have helium. And so we release the balloons. The students are going to have to know how to use the compass in order to know what direction the balloon's taking off in. They're going to record that into their notes. Okay. Along with that, I also teach speed. Speed equals distance over time. We pick out a landmark well in advance, and usually I pick out a landmark that's about 500 meters away, and we time how long it takes the balloon to get to that landmark. And you can actually get the speed and also direction out of this laboratory. And then finally, and the kids love it because the kids love watching balloons take off. Finally, we go back into the classroom and we find the direction on a map on the smart board, or if you don't have a smart board, you can use a rather large map of the United States, and try to predict where that balloon's going to be and how long it's going to take that balloon to get there. So this is a great hands-on activity. It gets the kids out of their chairs, it gets them outside, and it gets them. Next activity that I would highly recommend is the escape room. And escape rooms do not have to be hard. There's different types of escape rooms. There's 1-tier escape rooms, and then there's 5-tier escape rooms. And it really depends on how much time you want to put in as far as prep work to actually perform an escape room. Now, I'm going to be going over what I use. I use a very simple 1-tier escape room. And basically what it's made up of is a matrix of about, I think there's 20 different terms with 20 different vocabulary terms from this particular unit as far as weather unit. And it has an overlay, has a paper with all the definitions that are in the same matrix. And of course, the students are going to be given all these different words that have been cut out, and they're going to have to overlay them over top of the appropriate definition. Each word has a corresponding number that's been assigned to it. And then the students are actually given directions as to add the different numbers, okay, and then divide by a certain number in order to come up with a single digit for each row. I know it sounds confusing, but it's not. Okay, and basically what happens is the students are going to be given the opportunity to unlock a 5-digit combination lock. And in my room, if you're the person who comes up with the 5-digit combination before anybody else, you get a homework pass. So I actually put a homework pass inside of the lockbox. And you can do this with individuals. Sometimes we do it individually. Sometimes we do it as teams. Okay? So the escape room, what's great about the escape room is that students get to showcase their own talents. Some students are really good at memorizing definitions. Okay? Some students aren't. Some students are better at organizing. And if you do a group setting, let's say you have 5 members to a group. And let's say you have 30 students in your classroom. That means there's 6 groups, right? So out of these 6 groups and these 5 individuals in each group, maybe one person is the person who organizes all the information for the escape room. Maybe the next person is the person who is in control of the math. Maybe they're a math-minded person, and they can add things quickly, and they can divide quickly, and they can double-check the math over and over again. Maybe that's what their job is. Maybe one person is really good at the science part. Okay, so it just gives you the opportunity to have students shine sometimes when perhaps they don't normally shine. Also, it encourages kids to work together. So it's a great it's a great activity. It's a great activity for inside of your classroom. I strongly encourage you to use escape rooms. Okay, so everything that we've mentioned here today, a lot of good information. You're going to have to outline your book. You're going to have to go to YouTube and take a look at these videos and become an expert at whatever you're teaching. Interactive notebooks are a must for the classroom. But there's a lot more. There's a lot more to it than INBs and PowerPoints and scavenger hunts and escape rooms. I can think of one thing right off the top of my head. Notes. Just regular notes. A lot of people have an individual education plan that requires a copy of all the notes that you teach be provided to the students. Now, your INB can cover you on that. But we also need a hardcover, or a hard copy rather, of the notes, and I'd like to offer that to you for free. If you go to www.stemtpt.com, I provide you with a copy of weather notes that are already done for you, and all you have to do is push a button and pull them off of my website, and they're yours for the taking. Okay, if there's anything else that you need that's on that website on www.stemtpt.com, I encourage you, go ahead and make a purchase for one of those resources. Everything that you need to teach weather is at that site. And if you're teaching earth science, or if you're just teaching science in general, please take a look at our store and see what we have to offer. I hope you've seen great value in this video. I wish you the best within your classroom, and I encourage you to reach out and touch base with us. Let us know how everything's going, and we look forward to seeing you back here once again. Please hit subscribe and like button, and we'll be out with a new video very soon.